Talisman City Tech. That's what we're going to explore in this Tactica vlog. We've been looking at the Highlands, we've explored the dungeon, and now we're going to jump into the city. This expansion is interesting because about half of it, a little less than half, is shopping. The idea of the city is to purchase things, spells, potions, pets, weapons, armor. There are a number of ways to acquire objects, and even though they're random, as in if I go to buy potions, it's a random deck, I've at least narrowed that random down to knowing I'm going to get a potion. If I go into the pets, I know I'm going to get some sort of follower. So right away, it's the city is a way to acquire things and narrow down the random compared to just drawing from the regular adventure deck, which also has events and a whole type of objects and followers. You need gold. The city, ideally, you enter the city with lots and lots of gold. And the encounters are handled a little bit differently. That's not to say there isn't gold in the city, but the first question we ask is, where are you going to get the gold? Now, maybe you have a character that can create gold. You've got the alchemist, you've got ways to transmute, or I think it's the leprechaun that gives you a gold bonus every time he draws bags. There are some characters that are going to give you that bonus. But for the most part, you've got to make a decision, jump into the Highlands, and we explored this Highlands Tactica. I'm just going to framework it. There are a number of objects in the Highlands, diamonds, emeralds, rubies, opals, things like that, that you can turn in to the city for double the value of gold. You can easily get double-digit gold. So jumping into the Highlands, getting that gold, going into the city, great Tactica. Another way, if you don't have the Highlands or you've decided I'm not going to move into that area, maybe because there's a bunch of other players doing the same thing, trying to farm or go for the Eagle King and you want to avoid PvP, hanging out on the main board and drawing cards, there are a number of 1 and 2 gold bags that you can draw. But generally speaking, ideally, I want to enter the city with some gold coins. To find them in the city, that's burning time. Now, what's interesting is moving on the board, it's a constant flow. So if you miss a shop, you've got to go around again. There are some harder encounters. There are some interesting events in the city, but for the most part, I really want to avoid them because they're going to slow me down or they're going to mess with the time that it takes for me to go shopping. I want to just get in, buy my stuff, and get out. So let's look at some Tactica to buy. I like to focus on, there's 2 ways. The ways of pets, the ways of potions. One's for the lulls, one's for the Tactica. And the weapon shop / armory, looking at the flail and armor and some other things that are very, very potent, even if you're potentially not a strength-based character. So the way of potions are, you go into the store, you buy potions. Some of these potions will be a temporary boost. Some of them are random effects, but a number of them are gain +1 strength, gain +1 craft. Think about that possibility. Now, it could also blow up in your face. It is Talisman. You're rolling a D6, right? 6 is good, 1 is bad. Even if I don't know the rules, 6 is good, 1 is bad. From that perspective, you could possibly burn some fate. But the chance to 50-50 for a +1 attribute permanent boost, that's huge. The time that cuts down, we've explored this, Talisman being the game for the race to the crown of command, losing a turn is huge in the game. Non-optimized turns as best you can, embracing the random, is huge. So if I need to level up enough to bust down the portal of power or to potentially deal with a random event at the crown of command, Ice Queen or something like that, I want to be jacked up +4, +5, +8 strength craft, depending on whatever path I'm going on. That is a number of encounters that I'm going to have to face, that I'm going to have to fight just to get there. If I could pop a brew and gain a +1 and I have a couple of fate to build it in, that's fantastic. Plus, there's a couple of interesting ones like a flight potion, invisibility potion. The way of potions is a great way to level up very, very quickly. Now for the lulls. Pets. There's a bunch of different pets. Some are really fun. Some are interesting. Some are a little bit powerful. If you want to build up an army of followers, traveling circus, that's really, really fun to play. If you're playing a character that could utilize followers, like the gladiator and other characters, that one of their strengths, one of their primary attributes is utilizing followers. Now with the gold, this is a chance to focus on just acquiring followers as opposed to randomly trying to go and randomly trying to see. So those are the two stores that I primarily hit up. There are some magic stores, there are some scrolls, there are some things to boost that, which you can utilize depending on your character class. Let's talk about the armory and buying weapons. There is the flail, which allows you to roll 2d6 and combine. That is massive. It is one of the most powerful weapons, objects, uses in the game. If you are a warrior strength-based class, that's going to put you through the roof. If you're a squishy wizard, that is also going to build in some strength that if you're primarily leveling up craft and now you fight a strength-based encounter, whether it's another character or whether it's a monster encounter, that gives you some tremendous punch. I won't say this object is mandatory because one of the things we explored in the dungeon video, the rune sword. There are certain objects in Talisman that are very, very powerful, that are going to make you extremely powerful. If you're playing with a more competitive group, a bigger group, I can't be sad face. If I have the rune sword, everyone is going to be targeting me. They're either going to be trying to beat me down and take the sword, or they're like, look, my man Fritz is just zapping life like crazy. No way, destroy that object. So sometimes you have to like literally fly under the radar in the game where I don't want to have that powerful object because it could make me a target. The flail absolutely will. It has to. I got to target you. That's just where we are. How do you utilize that? How do you adapt that? Within that framework, again, dipping into the city when you've got some gold, get in, buy your stuff, get out. Because the other encounters in there's some interesting ones, but they do tend to slow you down. And that's going to take away the time that you need to be spending for endgame and for the run to the Crown of Command.